Hey there, this is Dara Connolly, your fearless confidence coach who helps you speak up to be heard, kick fear to the curb, and be TEDx confident. I'm a TEDx speaker, author, and award-winning confidence coach who has helped thousands. And in this video today, I'm going to be giving you my 3 top tips how to help you be more confident while speaking on stage. Let's do it. So let's jump right into this. Number 1 is to know your material. You know, a lot of times speakers think that they can wing it. I hear this all the time as a speech coach. I'll hear people say, I don't need to practice. I'm much better in the moment. I want to be natural. Just put me on the stage and I'll start talking. Doesn't really work that way. The rule of thumb here is to practice and rehearse your speech for 1 hour for every 2 minutes of speech time. 1 hour for every 2 minutes. That's a lot of rehearsal time. Most people don't put in that much time, but in order to increase your confidence while speaking on stage, you want to be well rehearsed. Remember, public speaking is one of the #1 fears in the world. People of all ages and from all different abilities worry about this and really get nervous. So how do we combat this? By being prepared and rehearsing. So here's a tip here, a pro tip. Find creative places to rehearse and rehearse the way you would be doing it on stage. So what do I mean by that? We often don't give presentations sitting down on our sofa while we're scrolling the TV or looking at our phone. We give a presentation standing up, so rehearse it standing up. You can practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of friends, practice in front of your dog while walking your dog, practice while at the gym, while on the Stairmaster. The reason being is I want you to practice outside in different environments to get your brain used to being distracted while you're going through your speech in your mind. So if you're at the gym working out, you're multitasking. You have to think of something else, and it really gets you prepared for when you're on that stage and distractions are there. We have lights, we have people looking at us, we have slides. There's lots of opportunities for things to go wrong. So the more we rehearse in a real stressful situation, it gets our body mentally and physically prepared. So rehearse a lot and rehearse often, but rehearse in different environments as well. By the way, you can find places to practice your speech they're looking for speakers. So go to your local Toastmaster club or Rotary or Chamber of Commerce. Every month, these places need a speaker and they would be welcome to invite you in and give a practice presentation. You may not be able to practice your entire 90-minute keynote, but you could fit in maybe a 5 or 20-minute speech. Just kind of set that up with them ahead of time and ask them how much time is allowed. So speak everywhere and speak often, and don't forget to rehearse. We would need to rehearse more than we think. Tip number 2 to be more confident while speaking on stage is to remain still except when you're not. Okay, what do you mean by that? Remain still except when you're not. So most speakers move too much because we get nervous, we start to fidget, we start to touch things, and it's very distracting for our audience. So you want to keep your body as still as possible. You can move your head, move your eyes. Obviously, you want to move your eyes to make contact with people. But the hands are really important. And I'm going to give you some specific things to do with your hands to show confidence while you're speaking on a stage. The first thing is to be sure your hands are visible. We don't want to hide them in our pockets. We can't cross them or even have them hidden behind our back. Sometimes you'll see speakers do that. They'll stand with their hands clasped behind their back. It really conveys a message of don't trust me. There's a power to showing open palms, which indicates you can trust me. I'm not hiding a concealed weapon here. Trust. So at some point in your speech, open palms, even better, open arms, open posture, and then go back to still and remaining still except when you're not. So what that means is if you're going to move, be deliberate about it. If I need to walk from here to the other side of the stage, I'm going to deliberately turn and walk. If I need to take a look at my notes, I'm going to deliberately look down and then come back up. Not speaking while I'm looking at my notes. That's important. If I need to take a sip of water, I deliberately grab my glass, take the sip of water, then put it back. I don't want you to rush through your speech and try to do other things while you're speaking. So we remain still as much as possible. And then if you need to adjust something, you do it and go back to stillness as much as possible. Now, this is something that we can learn to do. I'm Italian. I like to talk with my hands. I like to use gestures, but in some environments, it's going to be very distracting for my audience. If it's an interactive workshop and people are standing up and engaging, I can be a little bit more animated and move around. But for the most part, too much movement doesn't convey confidence. So think staying still, remain still, except when you're not. Another idea with this is, as we're talking about hands, is to clasp them in front of you, keep them still, and then when you need them, you bring them up and make a gesture, whether it's a point, I'm not pointing at the audience, that would be disrespectful, point, a palm, hold on a minute, here's my 1, 2, and 3 points. That's a very effective way to use the hands. And then we go back to clasping them or just naturally letting them hang at our side. Whatever feels more natural to you. Don't become robotic about this. Just notice that if you tend to fidget or move an object, that could be very distracting for our audience. So try to hold yourself as still as possible, except when you're not, and make the movements deliberate. Okay, this time it's important to remind you not to forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube, and hit the bell to be notified when I publish new content. And be sure to go on over to Instagram and follow me there, where I post different tips that can be not found here. And if you haven't yet grabbed my free confidence tips, you'll want to do so now by clicking the link below. Okay, going on to tip number 3, how to be a confident while speaking on stage, is to let your personality show. I know this is hard if you're nervous and the last thing you're thinking about is, how do I let my personality show? Well, what that means is you work it into your speech. If you naturally like to tell jokes or have a lighter side of your personality, open with a joke or work it in if it's part of your speech and you can make it relevant. If you like statistics and can easily remember that, work that in. Maybe you're a quick storyteller or someone who can recite a poem easily. Or if you like to sing, maybe you can work that in. Again, a little bit of that to show your personality. If you're very flamboyant with your dress, then show that side of you. People want to connect with you. And how they connect with you is by seeing your personality. So when we think about confidence on stage, a confident speaker shows who they are. The more you show who you are, people will like you. Don't worry if you make a mistake. Don't worry if the speech doesn't come out as perfectly as you want. If you say 400 ums, the papers go flying around. None of that matters. Do you know what's really important? As a speech coach, I can tell you, so many people miss this. Connection over perfection. I want you to connect with your audience in your authentic way that shows your personality. And if you can do that, and when you do that, you will be a rock star presenter. Let it show. We want to see who you are. Smile, laugh at yourself, look into the eyes of your audience, connect with people. Get into it. Have a little fun up there. Don't be so rigid that you're just reciting information. Nobody wants that. Remember, people are going to notice a little bit more of your body language than the words you're saying anyway. We talked about that in a previous video. So what I want you to do is focus on how you're saying it. Animation, excitement. Let the personality show. So now that I've taught you 3 tips on how to be more confident while speaking on stage, you're going to want to watch my next video, which is how you can get on a TEDx. I've been fortunate enough to be invited to several TED Talks, and I want to help you get on as well. So I know you're going to love this content, and I'm going to be giving you something that is amazing. It's an exclusive new offer I just launched. It's called DaraConnollyCLUB, where you can get more information on how to be a confident speaker. So be sure to click the link for Dara Connolly Club in the description, and I can't wait to tell you more. Until then, you are amazing.